Hi. Saturday morning, don't usually do a video on Saturdays, and actually this is somebody that wrote an email to me that I just opened that is a YouTube question, and YouTube questions are closed, so I'm breaking my own rules by I haven't even added this to the list. I'm just completely breaking the rules this morning. I'm just going to read it out. So sorry to everybody that's written me a YouTube question and I said I'm not accepting YouTube questions. That's life. All right, so this is from Donna, and Donna says, I know your YouTube list is insanely young, but I've got 10 kids and legit can't swing a coaching session right now, even though I'd love to talk to you about this. I love your channel, blah, blah, blah. I'm 40 and I had weight loss surgery 20 years ago. My eating disorder hit a year after surgery when my hunger returned. I began chewing and spitting and then binging and purging, even though my binges might not look like such. I know they are due to my reduced stomach capacity. This really screwed things up, but the really screwed up thing is that 19 years of this has only led to a regain of weight lost after surgery. So I'm legit obese right now, but I entered therapy 4 months ago and my eating disorder is still ruining my life. I'd say we're fighting for control now. So my question is, does unrestricted eating apply to obese people as well? I think my metabolism is so effed up, I hang on to every calorie I take in. Anyway, sorry for the novel. Look forward to hearing your reply on YouTube, even if you get to it in the next 50 years. I'm getting to it today. I think it's an important question, and I think it's a question that a lot of people are a bit scared to ask, and a lot of people are scared to even talk about. It's like unrestricted eating, like, get this, and this is the wild thing, that the thought of unrestricted eating is kind of taboo, even if a person has an eating disorder and they're really underweight. So the thought of unrestricted eating for somebody that's not only not underweight, but is obese is like, oh, we can't even talk about that. The short answer to that question, Donna, is yes. Unrestricted eating should apply to everyone. And here's the bit that people really struggle to get their heads around, that often if a person's body sees that the optimal way to maximize health is to become obese, then that person's body is doing that for legitimate reasons. And often the legitimate reason is that person's body thinks that they are in a famine. And so what that person's body is so fantastically and intelligently doing is it's storing fat to protect itself from the famine that it anticipates or it perceives that it's in. Now, where do we think that famine is? The famine is the restriction. This is the saddest bit about the diet industry and things like bariatric surgery and all of these measures that are being taken to try and keep people in underweight bodies, is that it doesn't work, because the human body is just smarter than that, and our bodies are primed over years of evolution to try and survive what it perceives to be a famine. And so when you do things to restrict, or other people tell you to do things to restrict, then that backfires, because what the body then does is it goes, I'm in a famine, I need to protect myself. And the way that the person's body protects itself from that famine, I believe, is largely down to genetics. When my body thought it was in a famine, it wanted to run and migrate and do all of those things. When some people's bodies think that they're in a famine, they do more what like a bear in hibernation is. They low metabolism. The body's very quick to lower metabolism, and the body's very quick to then store fat to protect itself from the famine it thinks it's coming. I mean, it's so intelligent. That's it. If I was a body, I know that sounds a weird thing to say, because you could argue that I am a body, but anyway, if I was just a body, like without being a person, anyway, if I was a body and I thought that a famine was coming, the thing that I would do is I would store fat. That's what I do. That's just like, it's like common sense. It's a bit like if you know a recession's coming, if you have any common sense, you're gonna hide away some money, aren't you? You're gonna save, right? That's what the body's doing. It's like, famine is coming, that means food shortage. I know what I can do. Luckily enough, I can store it. And it's like a squirrel pulling the stuff on its cheeks. It's like any hibernating animal that then stores some food and buries it under the ground. It's like, I know where that is, I'm going to keep it. Our bodies get to do that on themselves. Genius. Fucking genius. Apart from the problem is our culture, and that's like all it is. And human perception is a really strange thing. But once we have a belief system, it's very difficult to change. And once we have a belief system that thinner is better than fat, then we're basically fucked, because it means that 80% of the population are going to be fighting their own bodies. That's so sad, isn't it? And they start fighting their own bodies, and then their body's like, famine, I'm going to store more fat. And it's happening all the time. It happens to so many people, yet it's still a bit like taboo to talk about it. Like that actually restriction causes bodies to store more fat. Diets cause bodies to store more fat. And that's just the body doing exactly what it should do beautifully. It's functioning beautifully, optimally, when it stores more fat in response to restriction. So the question, even if I'm obese, does unrestricted eating apply to me? The answer is, of course it does. Because we need to convince your body that there is no famine coming, and there is no famine currently. And until we convince your body of that, your metabolism is going to stay really low. And I know that's scary, because I know you think, well, if I eat without restriction, I'm likely to gain more weight. And it's likely that that's true. I'm not going to lie. It's likely that you will in the short term. In the long term, though, your body may start to trust that no famine is coming, and it may lift its metabolism. And then you've got to, all of that is like, well, what's the guarantee? What's the guarantee that my body will lift into? I can't give you any of that stuff, because bodies are bodies. And I'd say I'm not a medical doctor, but even a medical doctor can't project what your metabolism's going to do and what your body's going to do. And a lot of it is so much more complicated than we understand, because we still don't really understand what the genetics are that causes, say, the difference in my body's reaction to restriction to another person's body's reaction to restriction. And so while we don't understand all of those things, we can't really actually do anything that other than our best and look at what's common sense. And it's common sense that if a person's body thinks that food is in shortage, that body is going to react to that situation. It has to. It has evolved to do that. It's evolved to survive famine. And the reaction is going to probably be pretty severe. And that reaction for me was me thinking that I had to run however much a day, and not, like my migration effect. And for other people's bodies, it's more of a hibernation effect. But restriction always affects a person's body mentally and physically. And so the first step to earning that trust from your body, that security from your body, and allowing your body to actually come out of that place of desperation, thinking it's in famine, the first step is going to be unrestricted eating. And that's scary for whatever. If you have an eating disorder, unrestricted eating is scary in any size body, but it's still a reality, and it's something that has to happen. And for a person that's in a larger body, unrestricted eating, it's so much harder, just because the culture is aghast at the idea of that, and certainly frowns upon it. But the problem is like, Donna writing to me, Donna's only asking that question because Donna knows that restricting is torture. And deep down, Donna wants to be told it's okay to eat without restriction. And that the reason that Donna wants to be told that deep down is because that is what Donna's body is asking for. And so the nice thing about my job is I'm never really telling people anything other than what their bodies are already telling them. When somebody's asking a question like that, I know that their body is asking them for that. And I know that deep down, they know that that is the only real answer for them. But they feel like they can't trust themselves because their doctors and our culture say, no, diets are the answer. And so it comes down to this thing of, am I going to trust my body over the diet industry? And we know that diets don't work. And I think even like medically and scientifically, it's now beginning to become accepted that actually it's not just that diets don't work, diets make people's bodies larger. And that's because our bodies are brilliant and they're so intelligent, and we basically should not fuck with them. But in answer to your question, Donna, unrestricted eating applies to any size body, including yours. And your beautiful body has chosen its size because that is the best size to protect itself from what's been going on. Your body is being intelligent and brilliant, and it will continue to be so. You have to trust your body. You have to eat without restriction because that is what your body is asking you to do. You cannot be happy and healthy while you are at war with your biology. And restricting your intake is waging war on your biology. Unrestricted eating applies to any size body. Happy Saturday.